at Namaste, we feel some kind of way, something about what we say we love, we really love, we see you, we care. Please be yourself while you're here. That's exactly what keeps me coming back. Time. Here at Namaste, we feel some kind of way, something about what we say we love, we really love, we see you, we care. Please be yourself while you're here. That's exactly what keeps me coming back. That's exactly what keeps me coming back. That's exactly what keeps me coming back. Coming back. That's exactly what keeps me coming back. That's exactly what keeps me coming back.
Am I good to go? I'm so glad. Namaste, it's great to see you here today. I'm seeing some folks I haven't seen in a little bit, so really happy and you know who you are. And it's joy I'm having right now. It's really good to be here today. Glad you could join us, whether it's online in our beautiful space. If you're new, we're really glad you could be here with us. And if for the rest of you, welcome back. Namaste is a radically welcoming community. We believe all paths lead to an awakening, and we are here collectively revealing that love is the nature of who we already are. So I'm going to ask Matt to go ahead and put who we are up so that we can do this together. So if you would please read this with me. I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you which is love, truth, light, and peace. When you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, we recognize that we are one. So yesterday marked the beginning of Ramadan. And so there's just a little information that I'd like to share with you as Ramadan begins. It is the most sacred month of the year in the Islamic culture. Muslims observe this month of Ramadan to mark that Allah, or God, gave the first chapters of the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad in 610, according to the Times of India. During Ramadan, Muslims fast. They abstain from pleasures and pray to become closer to God. What's really interesting about their purpose for fasting is it's to remove everything between you and God through a practice of physical, emotional, and spiritual detoxification. I know we do that sometimes in our own way. Ramadan is the 9th month in the Islamic calendar, which is a lunar calendar based on the cycles of the moon. And observances begin the morning after the crescent moon is visibly sighted, marking the beginning of the new month. And from now until May 2nd, we will be honoring Ramadan. So I'd like to invite Jackie Williams Pearson to come on up and do our invitation for prayer.
Greetings, my spiritual community. I am in charge of the Ministry of Prayer. And we invite folks to fill out your prayer cards. Beloveds, we are bringing great focus to the power of prayer at Namaste. Please fill out the prayer cards provided to you if you wish prayer during service or your prayer held by our prayer corps, the practitioners during the week. In a little while, we will collect the ones to include and minister prayer during service. In the back, you will notice a sign that says prayer. A practitioner will be there holding that space for you if you choose to have a one-on-one session with a practitioner. But know you are loved and held. Thank you.
Matt, I just want to acknowledge that Jackie and Debbie Ann, would you stand? Our 2 practitioner students passed their exam for term 3. So this is a big deal because we're in the last bit of this stretch, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Yes,
So
we are.
congratulations to both of them.
Thank you.
So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kong, and he's going to get us moving.
All right, thank you, and congratulations. Congratulations. You guys know this one by now, so sing along. Let's kick off today's service right. This is when you usually stand up and start clapping. I feel like Bobby leads, right? Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves me and I love you too. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. Come on, let me hear. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. From every walk of life, every creed and color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Now say namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. In the name of love. In the name of love. Woo! Thank you. Wonderful job out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Kong. So at this time, I would like to invite our practitioner, Jesse, up with our candle, which reminds us the light that is within each of us is the light of oneness, that we are never alone on our journey, that we are on this path together. That is why we come together in community. Thank you, Jesse. Okay, now if you'll read our affirmation with me, please. The love of the all good is through me and as me. That love is how I meet all I come in contact. Love radiates all and flows as all. That love is perfect. Let's pray. Yes, as that love is all and perfect, I know that that power and presence that is the truth of Spirit is present this day, as always. And so we come together this day knowing that all is as it should be, knowing our time is blessed, that Bobby is open to that wisdom that is the truth of Spirit speaking in, through, and as Bobby this day. And our musicians are lifted through that knowingness of Spirit in, through, and as all as well. So I know each that gather here, whether it be online or present, we do so with open hearts and open ears to receive the message, to connect with the music that lifts our souls, to open to that message and however we are to receive it. That is divine perfection. So I know all is well, and simply say, and so it is. At this time, I would like to invite our board president, Ms. Susan Kaylock, to impart some words of wisdom.
Open those minds up, people. Open them up. If you would join me in reading our mission statement. I learned practical science of mind tools and practice in a loving, connected, and bright, vibrant community to reveal my power and change my life. And how do we do this? We awaken to the truths of who we are. We realize those truths. We transform our lives, and we repeat this process over and over again, each time at a deeper and deeper level. Our power statement, we are a place of connection, healing, and unity. Hashtag we are Namaste. Hashtag this stuff works. Speaking of our mission statement, I have here a clipboard. We are going to make some changes to our mission statement, and we are asking community members to join us on this endeavor to create a new mission statement. It's been a few years since we put this into place, and I think you'll all agree we've gone through a lot of changes in the past 2.5 years, especially. So it's time, we've decided as a board to make a change to our mission statement. So I invite you to sign up and be a part of this group in manifesting a new statement. All the cool kids are doing it. Ways that you can be supported during the week. We have spiritual practice every morning at 7 a.m. with our practitioners. You can call in or use a Zoom link. You can find this information on our website or in the newsletter. We also have a grief support group that meets twice a month on the second Wednesday at 7 p.m. in the evening, on the fourth Monday at 10 a.m. The group is here to support our community through all of life's changes. And now a special announcement created by our very own Gracie Birch, Rev. Veronica's daughter.
Wow, that looked pretty good on the big screen.
Sorry.
That's all good. So my 10-year-old daughter Gracie's learned how to make iMovies at school, so I asked her to help me make she made most of it, a video for Wednesday nights, and this is what came out. So creative flow of spirit running through all ages, right? All ages, yes, yes. Thank you, Gracie. I believe she's watching online. And I'm sure she's got a big grin on her face, yes. So, wow, that was exciting. Whew, yeah, I know. So I'm here to talk about Wednesday nights. All right, Digging Deeper is this Wednesday, and I'm excited because Jason Firth is a friend of mine, and he wants to talk about peace. Given what's going on in this world, we're going to talk about, and it's interesting, he said to me, he says, I don't have all the answers. He said, we're going to discover them together. And we're going to look at how we can create peace within us that transcends all the circumstances of our lives. And what can we do? What practices can we do? What can we let go of? And what can we embrace to be the peace that we want to see in this world? So I want to invite you this Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Zoom. You can register through Eventbrite or through the website. And please join us. It's going to be a really intriguing and peaceful conversation. And then the third Wednesday, our amazing Valerie is going to be leading us in the circle, the healing circle. And it's a ministry hosted by Valerie, and our guest is going to be Terry Wilder, who brings healing and wellness through vibration, sound, and energy. And she combines, excuse me, my eye, I think I might have been tearing up a little bit. She combines Reiki and sound healing sessions to help restore physical and emotional well-being and to support the body's natural rejuvenation process. So join us on April 20th at 7 p.m. Join us. That's going to be an amazing, if you have ever done gong meditation, it is like you will levitate after this Wednesday night. So please join us also on the third Wednesday. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rev. Veronica. Today is the last chance that you have to join this fabulous class. What is this thing called You? Taught by our very own Nikki Freeman and Jesse Keeler, our practitioners. It's a great class. I'm a part of it. It started, the first Monday was last week. There's 3 more Mondays. Feel free to join us if you are interested. We have a few thank yous. Thank you to Rev. Steph St. Amon for leading our spiritual practice with Jeff Schlick on Wednesday morning. She authored the affirmations and daily readings in the Science Mind magazine, and she agreed to be a part of our last one in March. Thank you to Sandy Hart and her beautiful talk at Namaste and the book that she has gifted the world. We already showed our gratitude, but again, gratitude for Debbie Ann and Jackie as they pass their 3rd term of practitioner studies. I also want to give a shout out to Debbie Ann, who spearheaded our sale of artist prints at the craft fair that took place this last Saturday here at CSL. If you missed it, you didn't miss the opportunity to see the photography. We have some in the lobby, and they are for sale. Because it is Ritual Sunday, I do want to mention some birthdays that took place in March. We had Amanda Lastra, Craig Mador, and Janine Cochran celebrate in March. And this month we have Eileen C. Davis, Paulette Pearson, and Jacqueline Pearson celebrating their birthdays. Kong, can we get a nice rousing happy birthday?
I'm over here tuning. What's going on?
Happy birthday. A little happy birthday for our
Oh, happy
birthdays.
birthday. Oh, I love it. Okay. This is how I auditioned. I sang happy birthday to every board member. It took me about a year. I always forget what key this song's in or how to do it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. everyone. Happy birthday to you. I'm held in love, I'm held in peace. God is holding me with every breath and every step. God is holding me. 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 I'm held in love, I'm held in peace. God is holding me with every breath, with every step. God is holding me. 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 God is holding me.
Thank you, Kong and Des. So, we have entered April, which is all about creativity. Now, I don't know about you, but I have, in the past, had a lot of stories about what creativity meant. I had all sorts of judgment and denied that I could be creative because I had a picture of what creative looked like to me. Like, I live with Susan, who is an amazing creator of just amazing things that she can take a piece of paper and a pair of scissors and do, and she's got like this picture that is amazing. And I can't do that. And there's artists that paint and pottery and all these mediums that create these beautiful works of art. And that's not me. So I had a story that I was not creative. And it goes way back to lots of things that, gave me verification and validation that my thought was accurate. And then I started knitting. I don't know if any of you are knitters, but you are always, especially when you were learning and beginning, that you were going to drop stitches. Well, at the beginning, I would rip everything out and start all over again, and I would get really frustrated. I was really missing the whole point of what I was trying to do. See, I had this story that creativity was the byproduct, was the form that came out of what I was doing, as opposed to the activity itself and the joy that I got from what I was creating, whatever it was. So I learned through knitting that even if I created this beautiful lace shawl and it had a big hole in the middle, that was exactly how that shawl was supposed to be. I quit trying to go back and fix it, because what that would do is take me out of the joy, because now I'm in my head, I'm in my thoughts about what it was supposed to be, instead of what I received from the activity itself, which was absolute joy. It wasn't the byproduct. It was how I was in it. Baking has also been the other outlet for me in my creative endeavors. So I have learned I no longer say I'm not creative, because the truth is we are all creating all the time. Look at our lives. The experiences that we have are the mirrors of our thoughts. So if we are not happy, if we are not experiencing joy in the activity of what we are doing, we are shutting off the experience of the joy, but it doesn't mean we're still not creating, because creativity happens consciously as well as subconsciously. So that's a lot to take in, right? That's a lot to take in. But there's a good to that, because if we take a look, in each moment we have that opportunity to look at what are we thinking about, what are we creating, are we happy with it or not? We get to be in choice. So in this thing called you, I'm going to steal some of what Ernest Holmes has shared with us, because I got to tell you, I am loving being in this class and getting grounded in the reminder that really creativity happens long before we see anything in form. So what is it that we want to do? I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and contemplate and think about what it is in your life you would like to create. I'm going to ask you just to get centered and just breathe and just listen and wander through what some of this is saying to you and see what comes forward. The Spirit within me is God. The living Spirit Almighty is within me now. Spirit is the sustaining principle of my life, and I open my mind to its influx. I open my consciousness to its inflowing. The mind of God is manifesting in my life. The Spirit within me is projecting itself into my experience. Divine intelligence is acting in my affairs. Everything I do, everything I say or think is governed by this intelligence. The power which creates and sustains everything is now creating everything necessary to my happiness. I know that I am drawing my good to me. There is a silent power of attraction within me which is irresistible. Today and every day, I expect good. I anticipate meeting new friends. I joyously anticipate contacting new situations which will increase my livingness. My life is an adventure. I know that wonderful things are going to happen to me. I know that everything I do shall turn into good for myself and for others. So as you anchor in that and that knowingness that the creation of your life is that ebb and flow, it is change. It is in your hands to bring forth your joy, the love that anchors all. And so it is. And from that place of joy that you are creating, I'm going to ask each of you to stand. This is Ritual Sunday. And we are going to do one of my favorite rituals. I'm going to ask you to just turn to somebody near you. And this is what's called soul gazing. I'm going to invite you to look into each other's eyes, and from that place of love in your heart, send them love. Receive the love that they are sending back to you. This is an act of trust and vulnerability, and it is the creative process at work, creating that ebb and flow of love that's ever present, never separate. Feel yourself let go of any barriers that it might be in the way, and just be that open channel of love. Taking a nice deep breath, letting it go. And so it is. Thank you, Namaste. I would like to remind you that prayers will be accepted for prayers during service as well as in the back after service. Blessings.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think that God was the sun, God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth and the stars and all of creation. God is creator, all in all, leading us to shine His light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I command my hands, what must they do? Command my life, it's here for you. And God is the love that heals all creation. But God is creator, all in all, and needing us to shine His light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. God needs us to shine His light. God needs us to shine His light. And God needs us to shine His light as me, as you. So use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do, and show me all that I must do, and show me all that I must do. Thank you. Now, Rev. Bobby Becker. Thank you.
Seems to be a lot of tools in this job. Would you put up that first quote for me, Matt? This is Ernest in This Thing Called You. Keep knocking at the doorway of your consciousness until every no becomes a yes. Every negation an affirmation, and every fear of faith. And that's on, for those of you who are in the class, that's on page 41 of This Thing Called You. Creativity is part of who we are. It's an innate part of who we are. Without it, we're not even human. So how many of you saw the movie Contact with Jodie Foster? I think I've watched that movie like 10 times, but that's not unusual. I watch movies about 10 times sometimes if I really like them. So I'm going to play the ending of it because the story goes where she's a scientist and she's exploring and looking for signs of life outside of Earth. She's looking for planets, and a signal comes through on one of those late night discoveries that she had. And they end up building a machine to travel, complete faith, to step in, complete faith, to travel. And in fact, what's interesting is those powers that be didn't have that faith, so they even built in a number of protocols because they couldn't trust that this entity outside of the earth really had their well-being in mind. Kind of like sometimes what we think about God. So I'd like to play for you the end of the movie.
There's no direct evidence, no.
Tell me something, Doctor. Why do you think these aliens would go to all this trouble, bring you tens of thousands of light years, and then just send you home without a single shred of proof?
They said that's how it's been done for billions of years.
That's very neat, Doctor. You have no proof, because they didn't want you to have any. A phenomenon known in psychiatric circles, I believe, as a self-reinforcing delusion.
Is that what you think, that I was delusional?
Well, I do think you may have suffered some kind of an episode, yes. I do.
You're implying that this was all some kind of a hoax, that he engineered this?
Dr. Arroway, you come to us with no evidence, no record, no artifacts, only a story that, to put it mildly, strains credibility. Over $500 billion was spent. Dozens of lives were lost. Are you really going to sit there and tell us we should just take this all on faith?
Please answer the question, Doctor.
Is it possible that it didn't happen? Yes. As a scientist, I must concede that. I must volunteer that.
Wait a minute, let me get this straight. You admit that you have absolutely no physical evidence to back up your story.
Yes.
You admit that you very well may have hallucinated this whole thing.
Yes.
You admit that if you were in our position, you would respond with exactly the same degree of incredulity and skepticism.
Yes.
Then why don't you simply withdraw your testimony and concede that this journey to the center of the galaxy, in fact, never took place?
Because I can't. I had an experience. I can't prove it. I can't even explain it. But everything that I know as a human being, everything that I am tells me that it was real. I was given something wonderful, something that changed me forever. A vision of the universe that tells us undeniably how tiny and insignificant and how rare and precious we all are. A vision that tells us that we belong to something that is greater than ourselves, that we are not, that none of us are alone. I wish I could share that. I wish that everyone, if even for one moment, could feel that awe and humility and hope. But that continues to be my wish.
Our experience of creativity, our experience of God, is not something you can usually explain. There's not like you have this physical proof of who we really are. It requires an act of faith. And it requires something that is really difficult to sort of hand over, which is to hand over and surrender to the divine. Creativity is both powerful and dangerous. We as a species have the capacity to be amazing and dangerous. We have used creativity to create unbelievable beauty, and we have used creativity to destroy. We've done both, which for me explains how the law is impersonal. It does not prevent us from doing horrible things or things of beauty. It is really up to us. So what's interesting is, for me, that creativity often comes forward in ways that are not necessarily, I would say, the stereotypical creativity. I love Nikki's share. You're definitely creative. And it's not just baking or needlepoint or knitting or whatever it might be. Creativity goes way beyond that. Creativity is intimacy with the divine. To speak of creativity is to speak of profound intimacy. It is also to speak of our connecting to the divine in us and our bringing the divine back as a gift to each other. Again, music is easy. We see what Kong and Des do, and it's just beautiful. But each one of us sitting here receiving it also give back. There's no way it's just one way. Our energy is reciprocal in the room. When we create, we give to ourselves through intimacy with God, and that in turn is how we share ourselves with the world. In our creativity, however it's expressed, we can all feel in tune with the forces of the universe. And the result of our work often urges us to stand with awe. Indeed, we must feel these things. If we do not feel awe in our life, then we are not feeling truly, not all the time, let's be clear, no pressure here. But I think what's interesting over the last couple of years is I haven't always felt awe. I have felt a lot more, I would say, gray. This last week, I had a healing session with my friend Lubin, who's sitting here in the room. Does amazing healing. It's been a while since I've done it with him, and Janine and I both were gifted this healing session. And what's really interesting about kind of doing work like that, it doesn't even matter what it is. But you've heard the expression, when two or more are gathered in my name, something happens. I'm going to take that phrase, two or more, and extend it beyond you and I to two or more being me and the divine, me and nature, me and a book, me and music. That when I invite something in intimately, it's the intimacy of the two or more that open us up to creativity. One of the things that Lubin and I talked about in there, which is, I wasn't really thrilled about, honestly, was about being vulnerable to me, which is being intimate with the world. I grew up in I had a pretty traumatic childhood. I grew up in a way in which I suppressed a lot of who I was. And the most important thing to me most of my life was to be a good girl. That was the priority of my life, was to be a good girl. And so everything I did came from that place of be a good girl. Now, some people in my family did things a little bit differently, which was don't be anything that's good. But for me, and it was so I could fly under the radar, so that I could be safe, I was striving constantly for perfection. To be perfect. And the scripture that I always leaned on was, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. And in the faith tradition that I grew up, which was Mormon, what that meant was to strive to be perfect in this life, which was depressing as hell. Because that gold ring of perfection can never be attained. It is impossible. Because the idea of perfection that we hold in the Western world, well, let's just say it's ridiculous, first of all. It's somebody's idea that all of us must look and act and feel and do something in a particular way. But in my case, the idea of perfection in my family was to do as much as I could to stay out of trouble, to stay out of the way of my parents. As after this healing session this last week, I really have been contemplating exactly where in my life have I played it really, really safe. Where have I avoided being vulnerable and intimate with people for the sake of looking good, of looking perfect? Where have I not risen up to really, truly express who I really am? Now, there's a few places in my life for sure, but there's one thing that happened in my life that continues to happen and open, and that is the relationship that I now have with my sister. We're going to talk a little bit about you for a minute. More about you and me. For 20 years, we mostly did not speak to each other. I had come out and the family really struggled with it. And struggled so much to the fact that I was cut out of the family and everyone else had to adhere to the rules. Understandable, considering the type of family that I grew up in. At some point along the journey, and this was when my mother passed, things started to shift. Things started to move towards something, and I couldn't tell you what it was at the time. But there was something that I had to do, which is to trust that not being perfect, at least in that particular relationship, could possibly be the best thing I could do. And ultimately, what happened was that she and I had the relationship, again, that we always dreamed of. I can't even tell you exactly, except we both stopped judging one another. We both stopped trying to pretend to be something that we really weren't. And we both started to open up and talk about the things that really mattered without taking it personal, without actually involving the rest of our family, by the way. That really helped. Yes. The thing about creativity is it requires, that was an art, that was the act of creativity by allowing another relationship to unfold and to be, sort of draw us out of where we were all those years. We allowed chaos to be converted, to transmute, to transform as part of a natural evolutionary process. It always does. Now, I can't say that all relationships end up that way because, you know, I lost my two brothers and we never ended up reconciling in this life in a sense of being able to see each other for who we really were. That's okay. But the journey continues, which is they will continue to show me the way that I can be more of who I am, which is a lifelong process. Exploring creativity, which is the invitation to open up to more than just what I show the world. That is a side of creativity that I would say that most of us are probably not that comfortable with, yes? How comfortable am I to show the world who I am? Really? To step out of this small idea of myself, to step out of the pattern of continually playing life the way I've always played. That is the invitation, always. And you know what's so amazing about that invitation is that it's held out there always. No matter how many times we fall, it's always held out there because it doesn't expect us to figure it out on one try. It allows us through grace. The universe is incredibly graceful, grace-filled. And it allows us to continue to ask the question of what choice do I make now in this relationship or situation, but it asks us to step a little bit deeper within us to make that choice from who we are, not the choice as if the choice has something to do with the external of us. Can I allow, in a moment, chaos, which is only a pattern I haven't identified yet? Can I allow chaos to be converted, to transmute, to transform? And to be honest, we actually have no other choice. Because we will not get the absolute clarity for anything, because the universe does not care. It cares that we choose from who we are. And sometimes it may look like we've chosen even wrong, because it didn't unfold in a way that we expected. That happened all along the way with our relationship. To where we would choose and choose and choose and choose and try and try and try. To where eventually something unfolded. And I can say, honestly, every choice along the way was the right choice. It just had to shift, which means we have to kind of play with it a little bit. Consider it an adventure. Every part of our life is held by the power of creativity. There is no part of our life that isn't. You even sitting here deciding or debating whether you're creative or not, deciding whether the choices you have made are right or wrong, is all held by creativity, but the ego gets in the way. The ego gets in the way and says, you're not enough. I'm not creative. I don't have what others have. That unless I'm a musician or an artist traditionally, then I'm not creative. But absolutely every choice you make comes from the power of creativity. Our sustainability as a species is dependent upon us exploring our own creativity. It's dependent. Every solution that is to be called forth to look at the world where it's at now that is next for us, the next solution requires us to be creative and not in the material world, in here. And I think that's the hard part. So, Rabbi Joshua Herschel says that humankind will perish not from the lack of information, but from the lack of appreciation. There's so much attached to creativity and having an appreciation for the journey I have and the gifts that I have, and even the things that happen sometimes that I don't like. When I look back at all the things in my life, at this point now, there's a lot of, I would say probably 99% of it I'm grateful for. How's that? There's still a percentage in there in which I'm like, gosh, I wish that didn't happen. I have to work through that. I have to work through that and let it go. There was an eagle. This man went into the woods. He wanted to catch a bird, which he could take home. He caught a young eagle, and he put him in the backyard with the chickens and the ducks and the turkeys. And he gave him chicken feed to eat, and although he was an eagle, the king of birds, he ate chicken feed. 5 years later, he was visited by a man who loved nature. And while they were walking together in the garden, this man who was a naturalist, he observed and he said, "This bird is not a chicken, it's an eagle." "Yes," said the man who had put the eagle in with the chickens. He said, "But I've raised him as a chicken. Now he is no longer an eagle, but a chicken, even if he has a 3-foot wingspan." 3-meter wingspan, which has got to be something like 6 feet. Is it 9 feet? Thank you, I don't do meters. "No," said the other man, he will always be an eagle, but because he has the heart of an eagle, he can fly very high to the sky." And the man that had him in his chicken yard said, No, he really is a chicken now, he will never fly. Are you getting a sense of your own life? Just let me know. They then decided to try an experiment. So they took the eagle, and the man, the naturalist, lifted him up and said with great feeling, "Who are you, eagle? You belong to the sky and not to the earth. Use your wings and fly." The eagle sat on the man's fist, and he looked around him, and behind him he could see the chickens. The eagle's looking behind him, pecking at their grain, and he jumped down towards the other chickens. And the man said, "I told you that he is a chicken now." "No," replied the naturalist, "he is an eagle. We'll try it again tomorrow." The following day, this naturalist took the eagle up on the roof of the house and lifted him up and said, "Eagle, you are an eagle. Use your wings and fly." But when the eagle saw the chickens down below scratching and picking up their chicken food, he just jumped off the house and got in with the rest of the chickens. The naturalist is not giving up. He said, "We will try again tomorrow." So the next day, he got up early, he took the eagle, and he left town, going far away to the foot of a high mountain. The sun was just rising. So I want you to close your eyes and imagine this. The sun was just rising, gliding the summit of the mountain. Each peak resplendent in the joy of a beautiful new day. He lifted the eagle up and said to him, "Eagle, you are an eagle. You belong in the sky and not to this earth. Use your wings and fly." And the eagle looked around him, trembling as if filled with a new life, but he did not fly. Then the man who loved nature let the eagle look directly at the sun. And suddenly, the eagle stretched its wings, took off with an eagle's cry, flew higher and higher, and never came back. We are that eagle. We're rocking around in a chicken yard, thinking we're chickens. Aren't we? You get a sense? So, why did the eagle fly? And I'm asking you, why did this eagle fly? Why do you think? No wrong answer. Because it's his nature? Yes? He realized the possibility? He saw a source in the sun? Because he could. Was that you? Yes, my wife. Because he could. Janet, what was that? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. There were no chickens to persuade him to be smaller than what he was. He was now associating with who he really was. It's why we come in community. It reminds us who we really are, because we forget and we play small. And that is so sad, don't you think? The intimacy, the invitation. Could you put up the last slide by Walt Whitman, actually? You see, we're made of stars. How many of you have ever listened to Carl Sagan? Everything in us is from stars. We are a journey of those stars. There's nothing in me that isn't part of the stars. I am a complete universe right here. My organs, my limbs, everything about me is a universe in a universe. But everything in me is the same stardust that's out beyond our planet. So Walt Whitman said, I believe a leaf of grass is no less than the journey, the work of the stars. There's nothing in us that disappears. The atoms and the molecules within us are 500 billion years old. They do not disappear. They just transform and transmute. And yet, we forget. Now, for those of you that are judging yourself for forgetting, stop doing that too, because that's not good. Because we are children of the stars, to see creativity in a way that is our highest and best, we get to choose, number one, whether to use it destructively for ourselves and others, or to use it in a beautiful way. If it's beautiful, and let me tell you, my life is so beautifully messy sometimes. That's also beauty. To work together is to work in harmony with the diversity of each creation and its purpose, with two or more. So from now on, two or more is not because you invited someone in, you're always two or more. Creativity involves trust and vulnerability with all things. I have to surrender. I have to open. I have to trust. And what that means, sadly, is it's not going to be my way. It's just not. Because if it's my way, then I'm playing it small because I want to be safe, so I want things to unfold in a particular way, or it's not really going to unfold in the way that I'm really comfortable with, which means I'm going to come back to the first thing, which is I'm playing small. And creativity involves listening. Period. So, how many of you in the room filled out a prayer request that you would like to be included in the service today? So, if I could have an usher pick those up right now. And if you could just put them right here. And Nikki, you want to come up here with me? You hate to miss a good thing. Let's stand over on that side so you and I can be on both sides here. Now, we're not going to read the name on here, but we're going to hold in prayer. So here's what I was thinking. I'm really going to call you on this, like spontaneous, but I know you're totally up for it because you're really creative.
And I don't play small.
And can you grab that mic over there? And you heard her, she does not play small. So these are the prayers that have been offered up for today. So I'm going to go ahead and start that. And what we're going to do is we're going to read it, and we're going to keep the confidentiality of the person that gave the prayer, but we're going to make it simple and include that in our prayer. I'll do the first two steps, say the first one, and then we'll just keep going until we've read them all, or included them all as prayer. So here's how it goes. Take a deep breath. Because it's just not me praying and Nikki praying. It's all of us praying, just because when two or more are gathered. I know there is one power and presence. It is God. It is the universe in its infinite. There is no edge. There is no center. There is no beginning. There is no end. It is infinite in its power, in its creativity, in its abundance. It is wisdom. There is no limitation to that which is spirit. And as I am one with it, I know that everyone else is one with it in this room. Anyone this prayer is for. What I know is that each person in this room is one with Spirit, and that Spirit is always available, and that the peace that resides always, the container, that which is God, is also part of everyone in this room.
What I know and affirm right here and right now is that our bodies are strong. They are the wholeness that is the truth of God. So any activity that supports that knowingness, whether it be working out, nutrition, is felt and known. Lots of energy.
I know that the body is whole, that any resistance to walking perfectly, any pain that might be felt, open up to this wholeness, and also listen to what this pain might be, and know that all is well.
I know that the wisdom that is ever present as that small, still voice within is heard. And any appearance of otherness, any judgment is released to the nothingness from where it came.
I know that every choice that I've made in my life was the best choice I made for that time, and that every moment is an opportunity for an even bigger choice.
I know that wholeness is ever present in each moment, in each activity.
I know that I am love and that I am acceptance, and therefore that same beautiful love and acceptance I share as myself is also that of everyone in my life.
I know that divine guidance and wisdom is ever present in each decision and choice, whether it be health or relationship, is always available.
I know that we are all whole. I am whole. And I know that this person in this prayer is also whole, that she is peace, and she is amazing and beautiful and divine, just as everyone in this room, and that she is exactly where she needs to be.
We are affirming and knowing peace. Peace within, as well as peace in our community, and peace in the world for all.
I also know that for anyone in the room that is being held in the beautiful companion of grief, that while it is painful, it is the loss. But that peace holds each one of us, and the invitation to embrace whatever is in front of us, even though difficult, is the gift. So I just know that there is no loss in the mind of God. But on this plane, that loss draws us closer and closer to the divine. So with that, we just close this prayer, don't we?
With infinite thankfulness, gratitude.
And so with that, we claim, and so it is.
So it is.
I'm thinking maybe we should have done Fly Like an Eagle today. Great song. But this one's awesome too. Little Paul Simon. I'm working on a rewrite, that's right, gonna change the ending. Throw away the title, toss it in the trash every minute after midnight, all the time I'm spending. It's just working on my rewrite, that's right. Gonna turn it into cash. I've been working at the car wash, considering my day job. 'Cause it's really not a paid job, but that's where I am. Everybody says the old guy working at the car wash hasn't got a brain cell left since Vietnam. But I say, help me, help me, help me, oh, thank you. I had no idea you were there. When I said, help me, help me, help me, oh, thank you. No idea that you were there. I've been working on a rewrite, that's right. Gonna change the ending, throw away the title, and toss it in the trash. Every minute after midnight, all the time that I'm spending, just working on my rewrite, that's right. I'm gonna turn it into cash. I've been working at the car wash, considering my day job, 'cause it's really not a paid job, but that's where I am. Everybody says the old guy working at the car wash hasn't got a brain cell since Vietnam. But I say, help me, help me, help me, help me, help me, oh, thank you. I had no idea that you were there. I said, help me, help me, help me, help me, thank you. Oh, thank you. idea you were there. I'm working on a rewrite. 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 I was rewriting that one as I was playing it.
So let me ask this question before we get our conscious giving. How many of you are creative? Okay, then you listened. That was one. How many of you have a sense, possibly, that the life that you're being pulled towards, that everything you need is within you? If you don't, I would jump into Nikki's class and Jesse's class, this thing called you, because we just need sometimes to get a little help. And that is the journey. We don't do this by ourselves. And as long as we think we do it by ourselves, guess what? We do it by ourselves. I'm sorry, that was just too obvious, wasn't it? So for conscious giving today, let me just offer up this. We know that we are an abundant community. We know that we're abundant as people. We know that not just our community, but every community has that abundance as it, not just us. So as we do what we do here today, which is what we give, we just take that gift that is us, take that gift, whatever it is that we're giving today, and we just place that gift on our heart. Will you do that with me right now? Giving is part of the creative nature of the universe. It just is. It's how I learn about abundance. It's how I learn about the fact that everything I need, I have. Sometimes I just don't see it. Sometimes I just don't have the big enough view, which is why we practice this every Sunday. So whatever that gift is, let us place it on our heart. Just for a moment. If you could just invite your heart to open up just a little bit. And accept whatever the gift is today. Whatever it is you wish to take away from today. And whatever it is you wish to take away from today, you also give today. So if you will just say this affirmation with me. Next slide, Matt. The abundance of all good surrounds me and operates through me. I accept in faith God's plenty as mine and of Namaste. I accept it with gratitude and joy and use it with wisdom as the inlet and outlet to all that is God. I affirm this is true, and so it is. So I have some thank yous today before we get to our benediction, besides these two. We also have Matt over here stepping in for Casey. And Marlena's learning sound today, just sound here. She's also a sound. Thank you, Marlena. And just some, Nikki, thank you so much for your share today. Jesse holding vigil today and doing minister support. Tangi, my amazing sister, for helping set up today the tech. And for showing up, girl. Exactly. And Jackie, thanks for taking on the prayer ministry. So grateful for that. Susan Kallick, our board president, and Julie Geno and Janine Cochran for the welcome team, and all our welcome team folks, thank you for doing what you do. We are really grateful that you could join us here today. So with that, let us say our benediction. You're so good. Here I am just sitting here waiting, and it's already up there. Thank you, Matt. So if I could just have everyone stand if you're able. Life is the most amazing gift we have. As much as I want a Maserati, life is bigger than that. Life is all I need. So I'm going to ask you a question. So there is something amazing happening right now, right? What is it? Something wonderful is happening through me right now. Now, just a minute ago I said life is the most amazing thing. So I gave you the answer, right, besides the fact that it's written up there. So what's that wonderful thing that's happening right now? It is this thing called life. Where is it? And? Hold on. Nikki, come up here and do your power pose because you do it so well. What am I going to do with it, Nikki? I accept it, I am it, and I share it with all. Hold on. How? Is it? Do I put restrictions on it? So how do I share it? And? Now, from your toes, I know I say this every Sunday, but from your toes, so if they're curled up right now, make sure they're curled up around life. Sound like eagle's talon, right? Wow, life is so amazing. If I want it to be. If I can accept it and open up to it. So right now, with everything within you, if that means you have to shout it out, I don't care. But what you are about to say is if this was the only thing that you were ever grateful for, it is this moment and is this next statement. So say it with me. Thank you, life.
We have come together as family. We have come here as we are. Ooh, we have come with arms wide open. Yeah, we have gathered here in love. Ooh, Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Raise the roof with shouts of praise. Spirit's in this place. Spirit's in this place. We sing in celebration. We sing with words of prayer. Yeah, we affirm all life as sacred. We declare that peace is here. Oh, Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Raise the room with shouts of praise. Spirit's in this place. Spirit's in this place. Spirit's in this place.
Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful week.
Thank you, namaste.
They wanted it.
And then, yeah, they were just like, okay. They were just like,
I was like, let's go.